Audio test check 1 2 1 2.
Okay, good morning, folks. A couple minutes out. We do have chairs up front. If you start moving in, we appreciate it. Okay, good morning, folks. Good morning. Buddy Bloxham, Plans Chief for the Park Incidents, August 4th. This is your operational briefing. Please silence these cell phone, sidebar conversations so we can keep moving. As far as the incident objectives and management objectives, no changes. Those can be found on page 1. Night operations, Sean Norman.
Good morning. It was a successful shift due part to the work that was done by the firefighters and the help from the weather. That cool, showery weather kept a lid on things and allowed us to make a lot of progress. I'll start down in branch 5. At the heel of the fire, a lot of it's in patrol status right now. We're going in and doing some make safe, but mostly just looking for hazard trees and getting really deep mop up. Over into branch 10, along here in the valley, going into the Tehama zone, deep mop up in some areas are 1,000 feet in, trying to turn those properties back over to the property owners with no hazards. Up into branch 12, the problem area is that finger that poked out, and they found some heat in there with the UAS, so they're still digging some of that out. It's a tough piece of ground. They're in direct and had some good luck using that UAS to help with them being successful. Coming around into branch 15. And branch 15 has a lot of good direct line that went in. It was a tough firefight. They brought some retardant in yesterday. They did find a lot of heat in Tango, Quebec, so they're working to hold on to all that line. They were successful in doing that. The other part of their project is bringing line to parallel the Mill Creek, so they worked on that yesterday, and they're trying to come down and meet up with branch 18. Branch 18 had a good, successful shift in improving their lines. They were able to go out and put some direct line to cut out some of the plantations and keep them out of where the fire may come up out of Mill Creek. So that was very successful in there. Branch 20, the slop over into Butte Meadows is looking good, still held at 120 acres, no issues. They did open up Butte Meadows to the public, so there's more traffic going up Humboldt Road. And they did have some heat down in Deer Creek that they worked on and found 2 spots outside the line that were very small, but still significant that they were outside the line. They also were working along the Kilo and Lima lines up there to improve the mop-up along that road system. And then finally down into branch 25, kind of turning some of that into patrol status. A lot of work going on in that Cohasset area as well. Infrastructure work, tree removal to return that community to normalcy. Have a good shift.
And weather, Jeff Tonkin.
Good morning. Big difference between this morning and what we saw yesterday morning. We lost a lot of cloud cover. We lost almost all our cloud cover. We lost a lot of smoke. And we're going to see a lot of sunshine today. And with that sunshine, it's going to be a lot warmer, getting close to 100 degrees across the entire perimeter. But it's a dry heat. And this afternoon, with all that sunshine, expect perhaps a little bit of more mixing and put the potential of seeing some increased in your afternoon up canyon, up drainage winds, generally, especially with along slopes where you have slopes or ridges where you have that south or southeast aspect. Again, very hot and dry. Are seeing a little bit of an increase in south winds across the North Valley here today. That might squeak a little bit into the west side of the perimeter or northwest side, perhaps seeing some gust in the lower 20s on that side. But in general, the winds today will be very light and still out of the south, but again, keep an eye out for those little bit gustier afternoon train winds.
Fire behavior, Brian Newman.
Okay, good morning. So as you heard, this is a pretty clear air day today. This is the clearest air that we've had in a number of days. So what that's going to mean for us is we're going to have a lot more sun on the fire and a lot more sun on the fuels. So even though we had some moisture out there yesterday and increased humidities, overall, don't expect that to be the driver to keep things moderated. We will expect more activity. Just as an example, yesterday as the cloud cover broke in the afternoon, 45 minutes later of clear air, we were getting active torching in the timber. So today you're starting off with clear air and sun on the fuel, so you can expect to see some increased activity compared to the last couple of days. So anywhere that you have some heat that's in there, branch 12, branch 15, branch 18, things that are in those heavy fuels, they've still held heat. The IR this morning shows a lot of heat there near the line. So those areas are the areas that you're going to expect to see that activity. Get upslope drainage winds mixed with that sun on the fuels. We're going to go back to that fuel and slope driven type of fire. So it's not going to be necessarily hitting the ground running big this morning, but expect as you get through the shift, it's going to pick up in activity, especially on those south aspects and where you have sun on there. As you get further up in the elevation, anything above about 4,500 feet in elevation, the live fuels don't want to carry real well, but don't let that be a misnomer for you. The heavy fuels still want to burn up there, and that's where we're getting those spot fires. Still some heat down in the lower sections down here, interior pockets that have some heat in there, still smoldering out, and so they will pick up an activity again with that sun on there and with the clear air. The good news is this clear air is going to be really good for air operations and aircraft in your plan today. So please take all that in consideration and have a good productive shift.
Safety Officer David Morrison.
Hey, good morning. All your safety products for today are on page 8 and 9 of your IAP. Please utilize those documents as you brief to your crews prior to doing any work on the line. We ask that you're all active participants in your own health and well-being out there on the line. So with that, please make sure you're using all your appropriate PPE for the task at hand, whether it's mop-up or fire line attack. Make sure you're wearing what you need to wear when you're wearing it. I'm going to close with speeds on the road and in camp. Drive defensively. Make sure you're keeping to the speed limit, driving in a safe manner. We've had several accidents and near accidents based solely on speed alone. There is a in-camp speed limit. There's speed limits on the roads which have been adjusted by Caltrans overnight. So make sure you're adhering to that and watching out for each other on the road.
Park Operations, Mark Brunton.
Good morning. Okay, I'm just going to tail off of what safety said. I'm going to get this right out of the way right here, right now. Unacceptable with the driving, unacceptable with the lack of PPE on the line. We're done. Zero tolerance time. Our night operations almost got taken out last night, and behind them were 2 SO deputies by somebody driving wrong side of the road, out of control, too fast. That was the sign of this incident. Not going to happen. We are going to give a full green light to law enforcement to pull you over and take appropriate actions. End of that. Moving on to our fire. Complex fire. In 1 week, we've done tremendous work. All of you have done tremendous work to take care of this issue. All right? Complexity, high level of complexity on so many levels. And you guys have performed. And we are grateful for that performance. We're down to the last bit of this fire and that Mill Creek drainage. Huge complexity on that part of the incident. That's going to take a lot of planning. It's going to take a lot of work, and we're in a lot of focus on that. There's a lot of it that we're just wrapping up, and no matter if you're in that mop-up stage, that's still a top priority for us as well. We've got to get this thing finished up so we can put all of our resources and our efforts into that last complex bit of the fire. Our number one priority on the fire today is going to be that branch 15. Number 2, branch 18. Number 3, branch 12. Okay? That's where we're focusing our efforts. We're putting together good plans. We're going to institute a good operation, and we're going to take this thing on, all right? And then we can all be done and move on to the next thing in our lives, and put these folks back home where they belong, and hopefully the closest thing to their normalcy that we can provide. No matter what level or position you are in this incident, to achieve this, we need to perform, and you're all performing at a high level. Continue that high performance level. We need that from you to achieve this goal. The British Special Air Service, their top level military operators, have a motto: who dares wins, who sweats wins, and who plans wins. And that's what it's going to take to achieve this goal. It's high level performance. So I need you to perform like champions today.
Air Operations, Matt Stanford.
Good morning. Once again, we have one air attack and 2 S-2 tankers available this morning at early up at 0900. That means Helco will be going up early at about 8:30 to find out how clear the air is, which everyone can see the air is pretty clear. But we do have a frequency change, and I need everyone to look at the 220 on page 72 and 73. We have 1 TFR now and 2 zones. Air-to-ground command and air-to-ground tactical are your new frequencies for the whole fire, for air assets to contact air assets, whether it's Helco, air attack, or a helicopter that you need in a certain place on the fire. Air assets on 3 helibases: the Butte Zone, Chico Helibase, and the Creek MRB, Mobile Retardant Base. On the Tehama Zone, Spring Ranch Helibase and Red Bluff Helibase. And on Spring Ranch Helibase, there's the Pierce MRB available for retardant drops. The night water dropping helicopter is available upon request. The CAL FIRE Hawk is still our daytime hoist, Copter 606. Guard 840 is our nighttime hoist coming out of Reading. UAS modules work a swing shift, and they've been doing an exceptional job out there every night. PG&E is cleared to fly when Helco lets them, so they may be flying during our regular flyer hours. Have a good day. Thank you.
Communications, Corey Costa.
All right, good morning. Today's communication plan will be on page 74 for the Butte Zone, and for Tehama, page 75 of your IEP. There is a change that was just mentioned. On page 74, we've combined the air-to-ground and air-to-ground TACs from the Tehama into the Butte. So the new air-to-ground in Butte will be CDF air-to-ground 8, which is already in the Tehama, and then the air-to-ground TAC is 166.6125, tone 10, 107.2. So 1 air-to-ground and 1 air-to-ground TAC for the entire zone, okay? And that is now going to also be a clone for today, though, too. Excuse me, you will need to get cloned. Second, we've added a repeater map into your IAP. It's on page 76. And we'll just go over, on here on this is the blue diamonds, but on your IP it is going to be black diamonds, but also we did highlight the actual repeater. So starting up in over here in branch 10 and 12 is Tuscan Butte. That's going to be NIFC Command 42. Moving on up, and that's also in the Tehama Zone. Command 41 is going to be branch 1215. That's off of Turner Mountain. NIFC Command 4 is going to be in the Tehama Zone also, Mount Lassen. Moving back down over here to branch 18 and 20, it's NIFC Command 40, it's off of Colby Mountain. And then NIFC Command 39 down in the Butte Zone, it's down here by branch 25 off of Sawmill. Just remember, if you're moving around the fire and you're moving in areas that maybe you're not getting out on your command that you should be, it's okay just to switch your channel in your command zone to the next command and try that. If you have any questions or concerns, please come see communications. Have a good shift.
Medical, Chris Urey.
Today's medical plan's on page 77 in your IAP. At the bottom of the 206 is the reporting instructions. If you have any line emergencies, please brief your crews this morning on those reporting instructions. And if you do have a line emergency, please follow them. We'll get you give us the information that you have, and we'll get you the resources you need. We will have fire line EMTs, paramedics, RIMS teams, and ALS ambulances out on the line for you today. We also have CalMat and MERT here in camp and also at the Tehama base. If you have any issues, you can come see us. We're located in the building right next door, or the medical unit leaders at the Tehama base. Have a safe shift.
Logistics, Steve Doman.
Good morning, and in your IEP on page 83 and 84, you're going to find your facilities maps for the Butte base and Tehama base respectively. Also on page 86, you're going to find a QR code. In that QR code under the IAP folder, you're going to find additional documents. That includes our ground support, supply messages, service hours in both bases, as well as your hydration and fueling locations. For those resources assigned to Tehama Zone, there's been a change in an offsite fueling location. The fuel tender that was located at Payne Creek at drop point 37 has now been moved to East Highway 36 and Canyon View Loop. That's right on the division break of Tango November and Tango Quebec. And for those resources assigned to Butte Zone, the hydration trailer that was at drop point 45, that's been pushed up to drop point 34 right there at the MRB base. Thank you.
Information, Blanca McCardle.
Good morning. If you could please turn to page 78 in your IAP. I have the most recent numbers if you're clear to copy. We have acreage at 401,279. That's 401,279. Containment's at 30%. That's 30%. And total personnel is at 6,528. That's 6,528. Just to the right of the page, there are now 3 QR codes. The first one is still the California State Penal Code that allows the media to enter any scenes of a disaster. The second one's our CAL FIRE social media policy. Please become familiar with both of those. The third one is for a collection point for any videos and photos that you may have of the incident. We have a few items in Lost and Found. This includes a communication device, one which we just found here in briefing a few minutes ago, a chalk block, possibly from a type 1, and if you're still missing your license plate, please come see us. Mail service is available at both camps. Utilize the formats at the bottom of the page for your shipping label. Have a safe shift.
Finance, Christy Schaefer.
Good morning. You can find all components of the finance message on page 86 by scanning the QR code. Please report all suppression damages that you come across out there by using the damage claim QR code at the bottom of the same page. For CAL FIRE employees, today's the last day of the pay period. There's ePay Cafe set up in the Tehama and Butte zone in the respective finance buildings. Thank you.
Good morning, folks. My name is Gwendolyn Ozard, Planning Section Chief for the Park Fire. Please stay put for your Tehama Zone specific briefing information. Up first, roll call and division assignments.
Good morning, Julie Rhodes, Resource Unit.
Kent Cunningham, Tehama Zone Operations.
Starting with Branch 10, Chapman. Tehama Delta Echo, Schmidt. And Hotel Juliet, Tenney.
Okay, Chappie, we're on a 12 today in Branch 10. This thing is, we need to get it buttoned up so that we can absorb it in Branch 12 tomorrow. There's still a little bit of work in there. If there was no work, we would have absorbed it already. So keep pushing them in there. Get this buttoned up so that we can start moving our line leadership other places.
Branch 12, Batham. Tehama Lima, Quigley. And Stepping. Tehama November, Volmer.
Okay, Batham and Branch 12, we've been battling this thing in that brush for going on a week now. IR flight showed some heat interior, which we knew was going to be the challenge. So continue to push them interior, continue to find those smokes so that we can get that buttoned up and we can move things more east.
Branch 15 to Graffenried and Lico. Tehama Quebec, Harris and Miguel. Uniform, Todd and Murphy. Whiskey, Wetstein and Krill.
All right, Gino and Lico. Right guys, right spot. A lot of sweat equity went in there off of 36 all the way down to the south to Mill Creek. We got to make sure it holds. We got to get in there. We got to mop it up. We got to secure it. We have to go farther in there. It's going to heat up today. So make sure that we get that back door buttoned up so that we can continue to parallel Mill Creek headed out to the east. That is our Super Bowl, okay? That is our Game 7 right there in Mill Creek. So get that line pioneered and then make it indefensible, unstoppable, so nothing can come out of Mill Creek. Get some scouting down in there where we're going to bring it across, and let's have a good day in there today.
Contingency Asadas. Tehama Contingency Morris. And Hispanic. Tehama Group 3 Pamatz. Mineral Group McCurtis. And Crawford. Shasta Contingency Fields. Shasta Group 5 Konachek.
Okay, Dino, as we continue to move contingency from west to east and north to south, putting those contingency lines in, we need to start some suppression repair where we put in our initial contingency lines so that by the time this thing is done, we're all caught up in there.
Tehama Suppression Repair Schultz.
Okay, Gabe. Hey, great job yesterday. Let's continue to move around this. Our goal is to be completely done with this by the time we turn this back over to the unit so that we leave them with a good product. Please get your resource orders in and let us know what you need so that you can be supported out there. Thank you. Have a safe shift.
Communications.
Good morning. Mike Efron, Commune Leader. Please turn to page 75 of your IAP. As you heard before, there's no changes in the Tehama zone on 205, but there is a change to the Butte zone with the sharing of the command, the air-to-ground command and the air-to-ground tech. I'd like you please to turn to page 76. We're going to review the communications map again. So going around the horn, Tuscan Butte C42 is on that west side. Turner Mountains directly to the north. That Mount Lassen C4 is in the northeast corner. Colby Mountains to the east. And then Sawmill Lookout is on that south corner. Now with all that being said, this is not the instance that you are going to be able to stay on the same command for the whole incident. You guys are going to need to change the channels as you go around the incident. You know that ground better than anybody else. Lots of topography, lots of mountains, lots of things in the way. So you will need to change your command. When we say change the command, we're talking about changing the channel. These channels are hard tone coded. You cannot change the tone. You will have to physically change the channel. All right? So with that being said, we do have a new clone. And you will also need to scan all of those NIFC commands so you can hear people that are trying to call you. So make sure we're scanning those commands. Make sure you're trying different commands as you go out to the fire. This is not the instant that one command will get you to be able to talk the whole fire. Thank you very much. Once again, it is a new clone day. Cloning is still set up over there. If you have any questions or issues, please come by the comment. Thank you. Have a good shift.
A couple reminders for folks. At the conclusion of briefing, please go to your division breakouts. They are posted around the briefing area, starting with Tehama Delta Echo on your left and wrapping all the way around behind the briefing area and ending with contingency on your right. If you are an unassigned resource, please meet with the resource unit leaders at the table where you picked up your IAP. Our next cooperator meeting will be today at 1000 hours. Our next planning meeting will be tonight at 1700 hours. And our next operational briefing will be same time, same place, right here tomorrow morning at 0700 hours. Closing comments, Unified Incident Commanders.
Where we are today is a direct reflection of each and every one of yours hard work. Really good job. What I'm hearing, though, is today is a dynamic fire environment change. So what I'm going to ask is each of you take a couple extra minutes this morning, and I want you to go over 3 things. 1, what is different? 2, how is that going to show up where I am? And 3, how is that going to impact my plan, and what am I going to do about it? Lastly, I want to acknowledge the tremendous work our communications team has done to make some improvements down in the hole. You just heard what he said. You're going to need to use your channels. With that, when you find what works, not only share that out with the resources you're working with, but bring that back to communications so they can continue to make improvements. With that, be safe today, and let's get out there and do what we do best.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Is that take two? Good morning, everyone. Scott Gordon, one of the Unified Incident Commanders. So I want to take a minute and I want to thank all of our private vendors, our private hires out there. We have over 400 pieces of equipment plus just on the fire line alone. That's not even including the support staff. So we truly extend our thanks to you. Without you, we can't do it as a team. It's a force multiplier. Also, I want you guys to think about something. Our population right now is over 6,500. We'll be honest, we live in a world that's kind of divided right now. And 6,500, that's the population of your average small town USA. And all of you here are combined 24 hours a day for one goal, and we're going to get it done until it's done. Think about that for a little bit today. So you heard on the fire, we're in stages of suppression, repair, mop up, all the way to hard initial tack, still extended tack down into the Mill Creek drainage. There's a plan for that. You have good supervision on the fire line. That's going to get done. We know that's going to get done. That Mill Creek drainage is not a drainage, it's a canyon. We're going to call that the Can-Do Canyon when you guys are done. We will fail if we don't try, and we are going to try. So with that, those efforts out there, they're not unseen. We see them every day. As an operations chief and an IC, you always get that great feeling of when someone leans into your shoulder and says, hey, they did it. They got it done, when you least expected it to be done that quick. And I know you guys will deliver that. So let's go out there today and get it. Thank you.
That will conclude our operational briefing. Please go to your division breakouts and remember to turn your cell phones and radios back on. Thank you.